Hi, I'm Frankie Picasso, co-founder of G Woman Media. In our G Woman magazine, Gutsy Issue, 6 extraordinary women share the boldest, bravest decisions they've ever made, moments that changed the trajectory of their lives. But a few lines in print can never hold the full story. So we invited each woman to join us here, face to face, to go deeper into the risk, the courage, the fear, the power, and the transformation behind their gutsy moment. This is the Gutsy Six interview expanded, where the women behind the quotes come alive in a G Woman Media original. Okay, so welcome to the Gutsy Six interviews expanded, a G Woman Media original. Today we're spotlighting a woman, a beautiful woman, as we can see right here, whose brilliance, courage, and bold thinking have shaped thought leaders across the world. Mindy Gibbins-Klein is an award-winning international speaker, best-selling author, entrepreneur, founder of the book Midwife and Panoma Press. She has helped thousands of experts, founders, and changemakers develop their ideas, share their stories, and step confidently into thought leadership. Known globally as the book Midwife, Mindy has built a reputation for turning powerful ideas into powerful influence and for elevating voices that deserve to be heard. Mindy, in the magazine article, The Gutsy Woman Issue, you shared a defining moment in that journey. You wrote, "The gutsiest decision I ever made was to move to a new country without knowing anyone or having any clear plan. But I did have determination, and 34 years later, I'd say it worked out very well." So Mindy, let's go a little bit deeper into that moment. Take us back to what was happening in your life when you decided to move to a completely new country with no plan and no network.
Right. Oh, thank you so much, Frankie. I had finished my MBA and I had plans. I did have plans of moving to Europe. But when people promise things and they sort of are not materializing and, time elapses and you think, how long am I going to let this go on? And it wasn't happening. And I really wanted a new adventure. I was recently divorced. I just needed a new start.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a way to move myself over to the UK and start my own business without I had no experience starting a business, but I just wanted to be here. And I managed to stay and I managed to get work and, then various things came up and yeah, I just stayed and stayed.
Why the UK? What made you choose that? Did you like spin a dial? Did you just?
Oh, well, I was living in the US and I thought that would be the easiest thing to do because I do speak different languages. I wanted to be near Europe, but live in an English-speaking country. So it was either the UK or Ireland, and the UK won out.
Okay. And you picked up a little bit of an accent too.
Oh, after all these years, yeah.
So moving countries without a plan really does take extraordinary courage. And what fears or risks were you facing? How did you navigate them? And who was maybe a naysayer going, "Oh, I don't think you should do that. That's kind of scary." Anybody?
Yeah, a lot of people thought I was crazy because I didn't have any fixed abode or fixed work or anything, no guaranteed work. Um, but I did have a big sense of adventure, like I said. So I wanted to do a certain type of work. And yeah, I was very lucky because I did have the MBA and it got me into a company that had 300 people applying for the job. But
Wow.
then, yeah, I was the only one who had that master's,
Oh,
which, nowadays a lot of people have them, but this was 34 years ago. So I
and
was
female
glad I
too.
persevered. I know, right? So, naysayers, there were plenty. My father was really funny, bless his soul. He didn't want me to move because obviously, he'd missed me and everything. And I said, but I'm moving, I'm doing it and whatever. And his parting shot was, but the weather. And I said, well, Dad, I'm not moving here for the weather. And, those words have come back to haunt me many times.
Mm.
But we do get some good weather here. We certainly do. And it's kind of mild at the moment.
Well,
Can't
I have a
complain.
winter wonderland I woke up to today, so
Oh, yeah, we don't get a lot of snow. No,
you
we
don't get a
really
lot of
don't.
snow. Okay. So you worked for a company.
Yeah.
How long did you work for them for, and when did you leave them? Because you're on your own, you've got your own
Yeah.
thing happening.
Well, I did work for 3 different companies. and had three layoffs and three
Mm.
packages. So that was the good thing.
Oh,
So I set
packages are
up
good.
on my own. Yeah, right. I mean, at the time, it's very disconcerting. It's, the unknown and like, how's it going to work out?
Yeah.
But I still put one foot in front of the other. But after the third one, my kids were 5 and 6, and I thought, I really don't think I want to go to another employment, and I don't want to travel and be away from them and all this. So I set up on my own as rather an accidental entrepreneur, 2002. So what is that, 23 years ago?
Yeah.
And I used my marketing experience, but my first book had come out and everybody was interested in writing a book. It wasn't such a thing then. And they had no idea where to start. Most people I speak to still have no idea where to start. When you and I first spoke, you
Mindy
said
helped
you
me
didn't
write
have
my first
any.
book.
You didn't know where to, it's my pleasure to help people see the way forward.
Yeah.
It's kind of, my job. So it's been very enjoyable. Things have
Nice.
changed now. A lot more people are writing books or wanting to write books. There's a lot of software, there's all this stuff, but I still think having a qualified person to coach you
Oh,
is
100%.
worth a lot. Yeah.
100%. Yes. And it really did help a lot. We glossed over a fact here, which I think is kind of important just because you are a woman. And you
Mhm.
said that you had left, you left the States because of a divorce. You wanted a new life.
Yes.
And now we have
Yes.
children who are 5 years old and 6 years old. So you must have met a man. Life
Oh,
goes on, life carries on.
yeah.
And I think it's important for women to know that too. Like there is life after divorce.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, I never talk about. I mean, look, I was only married for a year. What am I saying? About 4 years by the time it unraveled. But we didn't have any kids, and there was no harm done, and
Right.
so I sort of see that as my practice marriage. I
Okay.
was out by the time I was 25. He did okay as well. He married someone else, ended up having kids. But no, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't have met my husband or had the kids I have if I hadn't moved to the UK because I went up north, 200 miles north for that job where I was the only qualified person.
Yeah.
And I met my husband in a Tai Chi class, as you do.
Wow. As you
I
do.
don't- It was,
I love that.
it was just something I wanted to do anyway,
Yeah.
and there were some fringe benefits.
Okay. So looking back 34 years now,
Yeah.
how did that gutsy decision shape the woman that you are, the entrepreneur and the thought leadership mentor that you are today?
Well, I think we make a series of decisions. This is our life and our business life, isn't it,
Mhm.
Frankie? We've got, every moment there's a decision to make, and every decision we make helps reinforce one idea or another. And I think it reinforced my belief that I am someone who perseveres. I have goals. That sometimes things don't happen the way we think or in the time scales we want. But if we're still moving in the same direction, in the correct direction for us, and we can be, agile as they call it nowadays, we can still get to that goal. It just might involve, a bit of a few twists and
Weaving.
turns. So I think the more life threw at me, the more I dug my heels in and thought, no, this is my life, and I really don't want to be at effect. I want to be at cause. I want to be the one determining what I do and how I do it.
Mm.
And I really, really believe that. Stuff happens all the time. A lot of people I know have gone through a very interesting year, as the Chinese call it. May have an interesting year,
All
But
five of my partners have gone through an interesting year. It's been a crazy year
yeah.
this year.
And us talking now, we're about to go into another year, which has a different energy. And,
Yeah.
it's just one foot in front of the other.
So, what message would you share with a woman who feels called to make a bold change, on the verge of her gutsy decision, even if she has no idea it's going to work out?
Well, we can never be sure how
No.
anything's going to work out. That's the first thing I would say. So to relax into that, to be sensible. So, for example, I speak to a lot of women and men, but especially women who want to start a business or they want to do something that requires a big risk, don't take a financial risk that you can't afford. So, for example, I started my business because I had a bit of money in the bank from these redundancy, these layoffs. I see people who get annoyed and think, right, I'm going to quit and I'm going to start my business. I'd say, make sure you have a cushion.
Yeah.
Um, don't expect support from anybody. You have to just get your inner strength going. And I would say smile and have a bit of a sense of humor, because the stuff that life throws at us and the unexpected things that happen, my gosh, we could never predict. So, just laugh. I mean, I know you have the same attitude. You gotta laugh.
You have to laugh. And, I asked everybody the same question, is entrepreneurship for everyone?
You know, I think it can be. So I think it's available to everybody. I just think people need to give it a go and not be afraid to say, wow, this is not as fun as I thought, or this is, it's not going to be as easy as you think. Frankie and I can tell you that.
It's not 9 to 5.
But if it's not fun, really reflect and think, is there a way back to, or another path that you can take? Because, entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted.
Right.
And I have had moments, months, quarters, and even years where I thought, what have I done? And, I could have easily gone and got a job. Actually, it wouldn't have been easy. I'm unemployable.
Yeah, me too.
But, in the early days, I was still kind of, putting myself about and looking at LinkedIn jobs and even doing a few interviews, because I sort of had that safety net or that idea that, well, I could go back into employment. But at some point, I thought, no, I've got to burn the boats, as they say, burn the boats, and then there's no way back, and then you have to make it work. That was what I chose to do. But yes, it's available to every woman, everybody, but don't feel any pressure to do it. Or if you have a go and it's not working out for any reason, don't feel pressure to carry on, because we have choices, like I say,
Mhm.
decisions in every moment.
Mhm. Wise words from a thought leader, Mindy Gibbins-Klein. Thank you so much. It's been a Gutsy Six interview, a G Woman Media original for the gifted, genius, game changer woman in you. Thank you, Mindy.